Welcome to the Fantasy Football Prophet Podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprophet.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Prophet Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey, and today we're talking Week 9 in the NFL. We're going to go game by game here, just recap, quick little recap on everything that we saw today and all the numbers coming through. So let's just jump right into it, Jeff. We'll start off with the early London game today and go over that one. Was it Texans Jaguars? Not a lot to say in that one. Jacksonville didn't really come up with much. Deshaun Watson, another solid game, just another solid Deshaun Watson game. Carlos Hyde looked pretty good. Should have been a lot better though, except he fumbled on the 1 yard line. Should have been a touchdown to add to that. But pretty good game for him. Not much from DeAndre Hopkins until that touchdown right there at the later stages, but just, I guess, a normal Houston game, but Carlos Hyde's been the surprise, and that was a pretty good performance for him.
Yeah, I think well said. There really wasn't as many, I know Houston put up 26, but it wasn't a overly exciting game. Hopkins, once again, it's kind of strange. I mean, is your take on Hopkins this year? Too good to get rid of or trade and get value for, but I mean, this has become a little more of the norm. I mean, 8 catches, which is great, but only for 48 yards. He got a touchdown, but it was late, which obviously he's been struggling with. What is your outlook on him the rest of the way?
I still think he'll be fine. I mean, I don't think you'd look to trade him. I mean, most leagues probably trade deadlines in the next week or two here. I don't think I'd trade him. I think you can't get the value out of him from what you paid for. But at least he gets this touchdown here. He's still at 11 targets. It just only turns into 48 yards, which is not good. But, I mean, this game's it's hard to say. They didn't really have to do much. I'm still okay. I think he's going to be perfectly fine going forward. But, yeah, not what you wanted from him necessarily. But, yeah, what are you going to do? What are you going to get for him trading him?
Right. And the other guy that was interesting in this game for the Houston was Duke Johnson. So it's been a couple of weeks in a row now that, I mean, really since week 4, he has been, if you put him in your lineup, he hasn't killed you. He's been okay. But especially the last 2 against Oakland and Jacksonville, he's found a way to contribute almost, double digits in each one of those. It seems like he's starting to come alive, even though he's not getting a ton of the rushing, but he's still got 7 rushes. But all of a sudden he led that team in receiving with 5 catches for 68 yards. Is he someone that you're looking that could kind of fill a void for your team? Or do you think that this one is kind of ebb and flow?
I mean, I actually used him in a couple leagues this weekend as a flex play with bye weeks. I think he can be that, especially in PPR, even a little bit better. He's getting those catches. So it would have been 19 points in PPR today. Pretty solid game. I don't see this going away. He's a talented player. He's going to get work. So, yeah, I think you can play him as a flex, especially when you have some more bye weeks coming up. I'd be good with that.
All right. And on the other side, Jacksonville, they just never got going. Unfortunately, Minshew just over 300 yards, but 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. And Fournette, he got 70 yards or so, but they just never got it going. So not a whole lot to go over there.
We might see Nick Foles when they come back from their bye week. I wouldn't be surprised after the way that ended for Minshew. And he's been good, but he hasn't been good enough to not let Foles come back to his job, I think.
Yeah, you might be right. I'm kind of rooting for Minshew still. I think he gives them. I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens if Foles does play. But I thought Minshew played very, very well over the games he had. I know that they're basically a 500 team, but they got rid of their best defensive player, arguably, and that team has had a hard go of it the last few seasons. So the fact that he has performed so admirably, I would love to see him still keep going with it, but we'll find out.
Next game, I would move over to Buffalo. Redskins. Buffalo wins 24-9. No surprise there. Josh Allen didn't have to do a lot, but he gave himself a rushing touchdown, passing touchdown to make it a decent day. But they finally gave the ball to Devin Singletary the majority of the game here. He had the 20 carries compared to Frank Gore's 11 and did a lot more with them than Frank Gore did. And hopefully this is the changing of the guard here. It started last week when Singletary clearly outsnapped Gore by a lot, and he was getting the work. Didn't show it, the numbers, but he was out there so much more than Gore. And then Singletary just looked good. 95 yards on the ground and a touchdown, 45 yards receiving. I hope this continues. They just need to keep giving him the ball.
Yeah, 100% agree. It was nice to see, too, because Singletary and DK Metcalfe were two of the players I was touting for the second half run. It just so happened to be 8 games exactly, and this might be his breakout performance. But honestly, I think if it wasn't for his injury, it might have happened earlier. And the fact that Buffalo is doing so well this year means that they're going to need to continue to run the ball and establish that running game. If you have Singletary, if you held on to him or if you didn't trade him, yeah, I think big things are on the horizon for this young guy.
And then, he had those 20 carries today equaled his total he had for the entire year before today. So that was just good to see. So we'll see, we never know. Frank Gore doesn't really go away.
No.
It feels like.
No.
You can't count him out yet.
He'll still be involved, but, Singletary looks like he is the guy with the big playability.
And then the other, nothing much else here. Cole Beasley gets himself another touchdown. He hasn't been doing a lot in these last 3 weeks, but he's got a touchdown each of the last 3 weeks. But yeah, don't count on that. 3 catches, 2 catches, but a touchdown each week. That's tough to bank on. And then John Brown he put up some John Brown numbers, right? 4 for 76. That's pretty typical. If you go look at his stat line, it's either 4 or 5 catches every week. And that's about what he does. With the Redskins, the Redskins just suck.
Yeah. They put in Haskins. He didn't do a whole lot. He didn't throw an interception. He didn't throw a touchdown, only 144 yards. So Adrian Peterson went over 100 yards rushing. Pretty impressive, for the fact that they didn't get anything going. But yeah, once again, nothing big happening. And once again, McLaurin, very talented young wide receiver, but as I had talked about before in one of the past episodes, that because Washington is so bad, if you're going against a decent defense, I wouldn't be playing him personally. And this is why, especially with Haskins playing now, you expect that he's going to need a few games to get into the groove of it. So unfortunately, McLaurin is going to take the hit on the production side of it.
Next up, Chiefs, Vikings. Chiefs win 26-23. Matt Moore's played pretty solid. He's keeping them in the game, so that's all they could hope for. And Tyreek Hill has not slowed down with Matt Moore. I thought he would, but 6 for 140 and touchdowns, so he has not slowed down at all. Just, really solid. Watkins 7 for 63, Kelsey 7 for 62. Those guys are solid, but Hill's too good, I guess, to have a quarterback slow him down.
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming. He's awesome, tremendous. So that's pretty amazing to see. And then Williams with the big game rushing. So if, everyone kind of thought it was going to be McCoy, but no, Williams takes it back. Obviously only 12 rushes. So one came on one giant rush, 91 yards.
But McCoy disappeared in that one. Which
he did.
You can't count on him in your lineup at all. He's done this a few times where he just disappears. Then for the Vikings, they can't get the win here, but Cousins, I don't know. He throws fantasy wise, it's fine, 3 touchdowns, but only 19 to 38. That was kind of ugly. And Diggs disappeared in this one, 1 for 4. Thielen played at the beginning, gets a target, and re-injures his hamstring. So he leaves. I don't know. Diggs all of a sudden showed back up for the last, 3 weeks, just big time. Really, 4 of the last 5 weeks, he just had huge numbers. And then he disappeared again today. Don't know what that is. Just all around, that's kind of just ugly fantasy-wise for the team. Dalvin Cook gets it done with yardage, no touchdowns. Just a lot of volume for Cook. But, yeah, not a great day for Minnesota offensively.
No, man, it says it all when you look at who the touchdowns went to. He threw 3 of them, but Rudolph, Abdullah, and Johnson, none of the big time guys. It's also not good when Treadwell is leading your team with receiving yards. It's kind of a pretty good indication that you're not going to win. But hey, they made it a game. But yeah, a strong outing for Cousins fantasy wise, and that's really all we care about. Once again, I see that continuing to happen. The fact that he was able to do this without Diggs or Thielen, that's pretty good indication that this will continue.
Then the Dolphins beat the Jets 26-18. The Jets are terrible. Dolphins are terrible. This was a terrible game.
I know. I really thought that Miami was going to pull off the unwin, the defeated season, whatever you want to call it. I thought they were going to match the Lions at one point. But no, they pull it out just enough to get one win. And who knows, they'll probably lose the number 1 overall pick now because of it.
Then, I mean, for Miami, fantasy-wise, I mean, Fitzpatrick threw 3 touchdowns, but, I mean, you're not going to play Fitzpatrick. Mark Walton didn't get anything going on the ground. I mean, Preston Williams caught himself 2 touchdowns. He has been an interesting player, but then he got hurt again. He got hurt twice in that game. He gets hurt, came back in, got hurt again. Don't know what that's going to do. He's been an okay play. The 2 touchdowns helps, but nothing you're going to count on. Mike Gesicki showed up today, 6 for 95.
It did. I wish we would see that more. He's a talented tight end, but because they're so bad, we haven't been able to see a whole lot of it. But yeah, it was impressive. It was kind of the first game where you're kind of like, oh, okay, maybe he can actually put up some numbers and have a long career, because he looked pretty good today.
Then for the Jets, I guess Le'Veon Bell puts together some yardage, but this offense is bad. Sam Darnold isn't playing very well at all. So, I mean, Crowder got himself 8 for 83 and a touchdown. He had a very good day fantasy-wise if you used him, but, man, you can't trust anybody on this team. I mean, yeah, ugly game. I don't think we need to talk about that game anymore. How about Eagles-Bears? Eagles win 22-14. How about another ugly team, the Bears? Trubisky he's not good.
No, he's completely fallen off a cliff. I mean, I don't know if they took away the safety net and the game plan for him, but oh my gosh, it doesn't look like he can make a decision out there on the field. I mean, 10 for 21. It's not even like they're asking him to throw a whole lot. It's getting really, really ugly, and the fans are going to start calling for his head. It's about to get real bad in Chicago.
Yeah, and then Montgomery got himself those 2 touchdowns to make it a good day. It wasn't really good other than that. He had 76 total yards, I guess, but receiving-wise, Robinson 1 for 6. Burton gets 1 target, no catches. Anthony Miller 1 target, no catches. Just ugly. Ugly all around there from Chicago. Just a lot of, there's a lot of ugly football today.
No, there was, yeah.
Then the Eagles side of things, I mean, even Wentz, only 239 and a touchdown. That's not great for fantasy right there.
Yeah, Howard exacting a little bit of revenge, which is always great to see. He did have 19 carries. Once again, he had a ton of carries for 82 yards and a touchdown, which is great. And Zach Ertz, after we talked crap about him, he finally got his head out of the you-know-what. And yeah, 9 catches for 103 and a touchdown. That is the Ertz that we remember so fondly.
Yeah, we'll see if that continues. I think, again, Zach Ertz is that good. He really is. So that's something that hopefully will continue to happen.
But the interesting part, even though it wasn't a huge game for him, the guy next up on the amount of receptions for this team was Goddard. So the 2 tight ends actually doing it, tied it with Elshon. So even though Ertz was back, Goddard is one of these interesting plays where I still think he's a valuable tight end to have perhaps on your bench.
Then how about Steelers-Colts? Steelers win 26-24 after the missed field goal for the Colts. They can't get it done. Jalen Samuels. So this is the tale of PPR versus Standard, because in Standard, he only get himself 83 yards. I think he had a fumble, so it's like a 6.3 scoring, which is just, not great. But if you have him in PPR, he gets you 19.3. So great in PPR and terrible in Standard. It's 2 different scoring formats can definitely change a game for you.
That's hilarious. And I think he broke the record for Pittsburgh and receptions in a game for a running back, something like that. He beat out Le'Veon Bell's number by 2 or 1 or something. Just goes to show you. I mean, hence why we kind of speak so harshly about the way PPR gets away from you at times. But what do you make about the rushing aspect of it? So Edmonds actually leads the team in rushing over Samuels.
Most of it off his very first carry was a 45-yarder. Was his first carry, actually, I think, of his career. I don't even know if he had it. I'm pretty sure or he had 1 carry before that last week. So his second carry of his career, and he gets 45 yards. I mean, I guess they don't really trust Samuels to run the ball very much there, but they will throw it to him. So I don't think Connor has anything to worry about with Samuels when he comes back, because he's going to be the guy running the ball for sure. Connor will get all the work there. Samuels will be used in other ways.
Yeah, so I think that's the big takeaway. It's important to know going forward.
Then receiving side of things, other than Samuels, I mean, Juju Smith-Schuster, 3 for 16.
Another disappointing outing.
One of the bigger disappointments of the year, I would say.
Especially with Rudolph back, you thought that maybe they would try to get it his way a little bit more. But yeah, what about the Colts? Brissett gets hurt. Hoyer comes in and does pretty well. Once again, every time he has got the opportunity to play, he looks like a pretty decent NFL quarterback. 3 touchdowns with 1 interception, not a ton of yards. Obviously, they didn't get the win anyway. But once again, Pascal is he's the guy that came through.
Hoyer's just like a good NFL backup, Right. He comes in, he's not going to really hurt you. But Pascal is 2 of the last 3 weeks he's had pretty good games. So with Miami next week. Hilton looks like he'll be out again. He's not a terrible option. He really isn't. He's probably going to find his way into our waiver wire episode, I'm sure, tomorrow. He's going to have to. Playing Miami, no Hilton. He seems to be the main target there. Campbell showed up a little bit today, but I think it's going to be Pascal a little bit more.
Yeah, I did too. All of a sudden, he's kind of breaking out. And I don't know. And obviously, he showed a rapport, and we'll find out the extent of Brissett's injury. Did you hear anything else, or is it just a tweak?
I haven't looked into it. No, yeah, it looks like a sprain of some sort, probably, but who knows? You never know how long those can last.
Right.
And then, solid game for Marlon Mack, but nothing too crazy going on there. Next up, Panthers, Titans. Panthers win 30-20. Kyle Allen just continues to be solid. Solid, but the story here is, of course, McCaffrey.
Oh, he is this guy so ungodly good.
He is putting in one of the best fantasy seasons of all time. He's on pace, I believe, right now, as of today, to beat out LaDainian Tomlinson's one of his, whatever Tomlinson's greatest season was. He's on pace, I believe, in PPR to beat that now.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It is. It's just wild to watch this guy. He's getting it done in every aspect. And honestly, he didn't even go that wild in the passing game today. Only 3 for 20. He did get the touchdown. But every time you think you cut him off, 24 carries for 146 yards and 2 touchdowns. He really is the reason why Carolina has a winning record right now.
Yeah, he's really, really good. The only team that's been able to stop him so far is Tampa, somehow.
No, go figure.
That's it. But but then other than McCaffrey, DJ Moore had a solid game, 7 for 101, 10 targets. Just a really solid outing there. He's had pretty decent amount of games here. His targets 8, 9, or 10 a game the last 4 games, so he continues to do that. It's nice to get a touchdown in there. That went to Samuel though. Samuel gets 3 for 64 and a touchdown. But yeah, this story, Christian McCaffrey, is just ridiculously good. I don't see how he's ever going to be stopped. Doesn't feel like it. Then Titans side of things, Derrick Henry gets himself about 99 total yards, receiving touchdown, rushing touchdown. So in a game where Titans weren't doing very well, Henry at least gets himself those 2 touchdowns. He's fine. He gets touchdowns and makes his days better, but he hasn't been overly impressive. But I guess that's okay.
Yeah, and honestly, Derrick Henry, my big fear for him this year was the fact that, what they did to him last year, and I'm talking about Tennessee, is just using him inappropriately and trying to, slot Deion Lewis into that, that backfield as well, make it a split. You have to give him a bunch of carries. He has to get double-digit carries in order to be him. And they've been doing that. And he, it's rewarding because obviously he's a big-bodied running back that can get in the end zone. He has done really well this year. And, he even shows that he can catch it a little bit as well. So on a team that really struggles to get anything going, in the passing game, that's helpful to see. And I do have to mention A.J. Brown actually had a relatively good day as well. And one of those up-and-coming talents, depending on what happens with the quarterback situation. I still wouldn't touch him this year, but he's interesting.
Then Raiders, Lions. Raiders get the win. Lions disappoint us again. Can't score from the goal line there to end the game. But you know what? The Raiders, I mean, as much crap as Gruden was getting, it seems like he's actually a decent little team here. They're not terrible. Carr, solid outing again. But Josh Jacobs, he's a good running back. 120 yards, two touchdowns. But the volume he gets is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
28 carries today. And if he keeps that up, that's all he really needs. He's going to be better more often than not with that many carries. Just a solid outing there. Not much in the passing game, though. Darren Waller, only 2 targets today.
Yeah. I mean, you always want more than that. They didn't get a whole lot going on the, in the passing side of it, but you can tell, I mean, like you said, Jacobs 28 rushes. And just to give you an idea, too, why he's such a safe bet, even though touchdowns are very sporadic for Jacobs. I mean, out of the 8 games he's played, he's scored touchdowns in 3 of them, but they were all multi-touchdown games, which is just odd. But I mean, he's never dipped below 10 touches, and the last 4 games has gone 26 rushes, 21, 15, 28. I don't see that slowing down, so Jacobs looks pretty bona fide at this point.
Then for the Lions, I mean, Stafford continues to be a good fantasy player here. They don't have a running game, so Stafford's going to keep throwing the ball. He's had 3 great fantasy days in a row. I mean, Chicago could be tough at Chicago next week, but I mean, they're just going to throw the ball around. So he's going to be a good option every week.
Yeah, and
nothing on the ground, though.
No, but Galladay and Jones, they were trading off for the past couple of weeks, and they both were great plays this week, both over 120 yards and both with a TD. Marvin Jones getting a few extra catches. If you were in a full PPR league, that might have made a little bit of a difference. What do you think about that, having the 2 big names, Galladay and Marvin Jones? What do you see for them moving forward?
So I think Galladay's going to be great for sure every week. He had one bad game against Minnesota, maybe against Philly early in the year, but you just trust Galladay every week. Jones, I'm not all the way there yet. I'm going to throw him in my lineup, but I know it could maybe not go the right way. But it's been, pretty good season for Jones here. I mean, I guess the 4 touchdown game really boosted a lot more than what he, should be ranked wise. But, they have to throw the ball. These 2 guys are going to have to get a lot of catches. And they're pretty much it. I mean, Amendola didn't do much today, but Jones and Galladay, I think, Galladay's 100% a must start. And Jones is getting close to it. 3 receiver leagues he is. I think, he's going to continue to be good. Yeah, nothing else. That running game, man. I'm just... Ugh.
No, I mean...
looking at that, it's just ugly.
Would you be looking at anyone there? Are you kind of seeing that there? Okay, I was going to say, is there a diamond in the rough trying to figure out who's going to be the rusher? I mean, McKissick is the one that got the majority of the work.
McKissick, if like in a PPR league, if you are hurting and need a flex player, and there's nothing out there, like you're in a deeper league even, McKissick's not the worst option. He's involved, and I mean he's looked pretty decent. I would say I think he's actually looked pretty good. He's looked better than Ty Johnson, and yeah, that I would throw a flyer on him if you absolutely need a deeper league play that could play McKissick. But other than that, no, not touching anything. How about Seahawks Buccaneers? Seahawks win in overtime 40-34, and Russell Wilson is just ridiculous.
I can't say enough about it. Every time I talk about him, I always use words like magical, or I don't know how much I can kiss up to this guy. He really is, though. I mean, I can't say enough about him. He is such an elite quarterback. He's so fun to watch, and because of him, we got 3 really good performances from wide receivers. Lockett, we kind of, you kind of come to expect it. 152 yards and 2 touchdowns is a lot, though. I mean, that is unbelievable. He got targeted 18 times. For a PPR league, that is something you want to write down real quick, because 18 targets is ridiculous. He caught 13 of them. And then DK Metcalfe, the other guy I was talking about for the second half of the year, I don't know, would you consider this the coming out party? Because 6 catches for 123 yards and a touchdown. Finally looks like he put together a full game. Just really, really fun game to watch.
I mean, yeah, I've we've both been, I guess, big Metcalfe fans.
Yes.
And I've been waiting for this, and it looks like, Tampa didn't do much to stop him, it seemed like. But yeah, this was nice to see.
True.
My worry is he plays San Francisco at San Francisco next week. He could slow down there, then a bye week. So, and then, at Philly, Minnesota, it's not the greatest schedule coming up for him. Get, a couple of these I worry about, but yeah, this guy, he's going to be really good next year, I think. He's going to still be probably hit or miss for the rest of this season, but next year, I think we got a pretty good wide receiver here.
And the third wide receiver, if you will, actually tight end, Jacob Hollister. So
yeah, he gets himself 2 touchdowns.
Right, 2 touchdowns, 4 catches, 37 yards. So without the touchdowns, obviously a very mediocre game, but 2 touchdowns. Nothing you can take away from that. Obviously, he took over for their injured tight end. Is this someone that we can look for, or do you think this one is a flash in the pan? Because they use the tight end a lot before the injury.
I'll have to see something else on him. Another week or two of that. They might use him though, but I don't know. Tampa didn't seem to. I want to see him against a better team.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
Then running game wise, Chris Carson, another solid game, 105 yards, but he did fumble the ball twice. I believe they got both of them. He didn't lose either, or I think he lost one went out of bounds, but 2 fumbles again. There's been a few of these things, but I don't know if that'll ever turn the tide and go to Penny, but yeah, he needs to stop fumbling.
Yeah, and we said this before too, and we thought that maybe this would give Penny a way in, but it really hasn't yet. And he's looked really, really good. Hasn't cost him the game. Maybe if that happens, maybe if he fumbles in a really bad situation, it costs him the game. But he's been so good otherwise. I don't think that Carson is going to be able to be moved out of that spot.
Then Buccaneers side of things, Jameis was solid. Ronald Jones was actually solid, for him.
Yeah,
67 yards, a touchdown.
Pretty good. 18 carries. That's something for the Bucs to try to establish that running game.
Better.
That's unusual.
But do you remember the days when people thought Chris Godwin was better than Mike Evans?
I know. And Chris Godwin's still very, very good. But
he is,
my
but
gosh,
he's not Mike Evans.
Mike Evans has come back with a fury. He wanted to say, hey, I haven't gone anywhere. Because the last few weeks, he's been on an absolute tear.
The targets he's gotten in these last 3 games it's ridiculous. 17, 12, and 16, the last 3 games in targets. Just ridiculous outings here for Evans. Nice to see Winston just throwing the ball up to him. And playing Arizona next week's not going to probably slow things down.
Yeah, and whatever New Orleans did in week 5 to pretty much shut him out of the game, teams have to start doing that to him, because this guy looks just dominant right now. They didn't get the win today, but anytime you throw it up to him, it looks like he's going to come down with it. 180 yards. Give me a break.
Yeah, just ridiculous. Then Broncos Browns. Broncos win 24-19.
What is happening? How are the Browns this bad?
Baker Mayfield's just not that good.
I can't get over it. It really is blowing my mind.
Did you see that one late in the game where Odell clearly beats his guy and is open? He's going into the end zone and Baker doesn't even see him.
How
do you not see that?
I'm terrified that this has gotten to the point where OBJ is gonna start. Hopefully he'll make it to the end of the year and just say, okay, we need 1 year under a belt to get going. But can you imagine if he starts getting unhappy like he was in New York and the whole cycle starts again? I know. It's really terrifying, because if OBJ turns on you, this season is about to go from very bad to just catastrophic.
Yeah, it's I don't know how you can't see Odell Beckham. But other than that, Chubb couldn't really get much going. This offense is just not any good. It's not helping anybody. Landry gets himself a touchdown, but man, they need to get better. And then Broncos, weird game here where they really didn't run the ball much, even though they're winning. And then Lindsey broke off a 40-yard touchdown to boost his numbers a little bit, but Freeman didn't get anything going at all. Noah Fant was the leading yardage receiver for the Broncos off the 75-yard touchdown. Sutton gets himself a touchdown to make a 5 for 56 day a little better, but not a lot of offense here, but they get the win.
Yeah, and Allen, the the QB coming out of nowhere for the injured. Oh my gosh, I don't even remember his name. That's how much I care about
Flacco.
that. That's how much I care about that quarterback. But yeah, Flacco getting injured, and I mean, he did what he needed to do. They only 20 attempts, completed 12 of them, but 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, almost 200 yards. I'm at this point, I'm just shocked. I'm more shocked than anything else that Denver was able to get this win. This should never happen.
Yeah, Browns are just not good. How about Chargers, Packers? And the NFL is just weird. How the heck did this happen? 26-11 Chargers beat the Packers. Packers couldn't do anything. On the Chargers side of things, I mean, Rivers didn't throw a touchdown, but Melvin Gordon looked a lot more like Melvin Gordon today. Got the 80 yards, 2 touchdowns. Nice to see. Eckler, even though still involved, 12 for 70.
Yep.
And then Mike Williams, 3 for 111. Hunter Henry, good game, but Keenan Allen is just not doing anything anymore.
No, I mean, he was only targeted 4 times. It's not good. The Hunter Henry, Mike Williams, that makes complete sense. Their numbers. Mike Williams, obviously 111 only on 3 catches. That might be a little bit stretching it, but the fact that you went deep to him on 4 targets and the fact that you went to Henry a lot with 10 targets, I'm good with it. But Keenan Allen, they got the win, so you might as well. Who cares about what I say? But the fact that you're not giving Keenan Allen at least 8 targets a game, I'm not. I don't know why you wouldn't. So I don't know. Once again, weird, but this is more of the Chargers. I mean, they should be in every game. They should be winning games. The fact that they're below 500 is one of those. Who knows? They honestly might go on a huge rampage at the second half of the year. So I'm hoping that the numbers, surely for Gordon, will keep going. But I'm hoping that both Henry and Williams will be viable options. I don't know what to do with Keenan Allen at this point. I really don't. I have him on one of my dynasty team. And right now I'm playing him because I'm too much of a wuss not to. But I'm getting very, very very close to looking at other options.
I don't even know how to say play the matchups with him because it's just he doesn't be good against anybody. So depends on what other options you have, whether or not you want to play Allen or not. But he's definitely benchable at this point. You can put him on your bench, and if he blows up one game, great for him. But he's had 6 straight weeks of nothing for you, just absolute nothing for 6 weeks. I mean, his best game in the last 6 weeks in standard scoring was 6.1 points.
I know. It's so bad. I mean, it really is. And the next 2 games before his bye in week 12 is Oakland and KC. So, yeah, 2 teams I really don't know what to expect out of the defense, to be quite honest. So I don't have a good read on this one. Keenan Allen is just one of those very, very frustrating players.
Then, I guess speaking of bad, and that's the Packers today. Didn't see this coming. Rodgers has been really good for a couple weeks, and then just nothing today. Gets 1 touchdown, and that was late. That was in the 4th to Jamal Williams. Aaron Jones doesn't get anything going. This is now the second time that Aaron Jones has put up a massive game. He did the Dallas game earlier, followed up with 4 points in standard, and then he follows up the last week's 34.6 with 2.9. Ugly. Man, Devontae Adams comes back, but only 7 catches is good, but only 41 yards out of it.
I know, maybe they should ask him to sit out again because they were winning without him.
I mean, look at Aaron Jones gets the 7 catches for 150 some yards last week and gets 1 for -1 this week. So that's weird. NFL's odd. It's an odd sometimes. Don't know what's going to happen. But
speaking of odd, not exactly odd, I would say, but Baltimore definitely making a statement win tonight against New England.
Yep. And Lamar Jackson, again, he's great, and it's because of his running, because his passing was fine for him. I guess 163 yards and a touchdown, but that's never what you'd see as a fantasy star, but it's the 61 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground, where he continues to just put up great fantasy numbers because of the ground. There hasn't been a player like him. Vic's the only thing, but this feels even, I don't know, something about it even feels better than Vic right now.
Yeah, it does. It feels different. The amount of time he carries the ball is extraordinary. And I mean, this is the reason why Baltimore is so dangerous. I know this goes outside of fantasy football a little bit, but the fact that you can go up against a defense that has just been crushing every opponent in New England, and you can completely throw them off their game, because how do you game plan for Lamar Jackson? I mean, you don't have anyone on your team like him. You can't practice the way they play. And then if you load up too early, he's already proven he can throw the deep ball well enough to keep you honest. So, he's the guy that can really keep these good defenses in check. And we saw it tonight. Putting up 37 points against New England, who have just been embarrassing people, that is quite the statement.
Yeah, it really is. This could be a tough team to beat here if they can get this. Continue to run the ball like this, because Ingram really solid on the ground today, 115 yards. I mean, Gus Edwards, I feel like, could step in and be good as well.
Yeah,
I think he would be fine.
I love that they just ran it down their throat too. I mean, if you add up, Lamar running it is a little different, I realize, but 15 carries for Ingram, 16 for Lamar, 7 for Gus Edwards, and then Hill got 3. I mean, over 40 rushes from the line of scrimmage. They really just were establishing something.
And because of that, they don't really need to throw the ball a lot, so these pass catchers are going to be kind of up and down. Even like Mark Andrews, who started the year pretty strong, we started to think, there's another good tight end option. He's still a good option, but he hasn't been in double-digit scoring in standard since week 2. So
yeah,
it's been a stretch of not much going on for him.
Yeah, they've been really spreading the ball out, and this is obviously I would want to see a little more production as far as throwing the ball, but they're starting to use their tight ends in a very fun way. They're starting to spread the ball out. So, I mean, Boyle with 5 catches, Andrews with 2, Hurst with 2. The only other person in that, Ingram with 2. Like, they're throwing to all these just big-bodied people, these short little checkdowns, so you can't get caught. And then, they try to go to Brown over the top, 3 catches for him. But, only 48 yards. But really, the way that they attacked New England today was really excellent.
Then, New England couldn't get a lot going on offense. James White got himself a rushing touchdown, but Edelman had 10 for 89. Sanu 10 for 81, got himself a touchdown. It's just that kind of game. I think I wouldn't worry too much. They weren't going to go undefeated, so.
No. Yeah,
they'll be better. I think it's a tough game.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the monkey off their back, because do you really want to be the undefeated New England team again and get to the Super Bowl and have that, when New York beat them back in the day? I do have to ask, Sanu, 10 receptions, he was targeted 14 times, especially in PPR leagues. I was not overly excited about this trade when he went there. What are you thinking now after seeing this performance?
I think that's exactly what they got him for. They're doing that short passing game thing with Sanu and Edelman. I think those two are just going to rack up catches all year here. And then hopefully, I guess for them, it's N'Keal Harris might be back next week, and he can, maybe go deep a little bit. But I think Sanu and Edelman are just going to get catch after catch after catch. Yardage it's going to look like a old Jarvis Landry line, I think, all year. 10 for 80, something like that. It's going to continue to be bad. I think Sanu's going to do this every week, especially if they're down at all. They're just going to have to pass all the time. So, as their schedule might get a little tougher than it's been really ridiculously easy. They might have to throw the ball a little bit more, and Sanu's going to get a lot of catches. But all right, I think that's it though. That's all the games. We got one more tomorrow night. We'll talk about that on tomorrow's episode. Cowboys Giants. And go over the waiver wire picks for week 10 already. So week 10. Well, all right, that'll do it. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.